here is the young man in his natural habitat, in a—
What are we even watching? Guys, hold on to your pantaloons. We have a shoe and head video, and it's about the male loser epidemic, and it's only been out for like a day, so we're pretty early to this. And I thought I'd do it, seeing ow, I hit my hand. I thought I'd do this as I'm usually really behind on the shoe and head uploads. I react to them ages later, so I was just like, you know what, I'm just going into it. Tell me about the male losers. Hit me with it.
Hello again, friends. Sorry I've been gone for quite a bit. Hopefully nothing too crazy happened. I feel like every time I take a break, like, a war breaks out or something, but
I feel the same way.
Thankfully that did not happen. But at least we found out the real Epstein files were the friends we made along the way.
That is so frustrating. I haven't been keeping up to date much with it. But even as the little bit I have, it's so disappointing. Like, come on, it's just a list. Bro.
Welcome back to the Shoe on Head channel. If it is your first time here, run. I am Shoe on Head, and on this channel I like to cover cultural issues.
Not to be a hater, but I think it's time Shoe got a new camera, okay? We're getting a little out of context, or my HD isn't working. I don't know, what the hell, YouTube?
Mostly surrounding men's issues. It's what I've been doing for over a decade, and frankly, I'm exhausted. Many of you have been along for the ride, and you have seen me go from a chipper, lively, 24-year-old—
Oh my god, this was recorded with the same— I'm sorry, I'll focus on the topic.
Making fun of BuzzFeed and Tumblr feminists, to a bitter, calloused 34-year-old talking about very real and growing men's—
She's 34? Damn!
issues. One of the main men's issues I have been covering in great detail lately has been the male loneliness epidemic. Yeah, but turns out I was wrong. We don't have a male loneliness.
Yeah, I have watched most of her videos on this. I feel like she does bring up some good points, and even if you don't agree with them, I feel like it's good, talking points to have an open discussion about the topic.
Loneliness epidemic. We have a male loser epidemic. It's not a male loneliness epidemic. No, it's a male mediocrity epidemic. It's a male loser epidemic.
The male loser epidemic has gotten so bad.
Hit me with that girl. Sorry, that accent. It's just like, I'm TikTok famous accent. Sorry, no shade against this shit.
That it's honestly so pathetic at this point.
Now, I don't always talk about men's issues. No, sometimes I talk about—
Come on, Shoe.
politics, and sometimes I mix the two together. Now,
I'm gonna be honest, I do ditch a lot of her politics, so I can't hate on that. I do mainly watch the male ones because I'm not in on the politics stuff, so I'm just like, dodged. So that's on me.
I know a lot of you don't like politics. You don't care about politics. But politics cares about you, and it will enter your life no matter how hard you try to avoid it. But
that's why I hate it. Stop coming at me, politics, okay?
Thankfully, I have the perfect app to help you navigate this difficult, confusing political landscape. So let's quickly give a shout out to today's sponsor, Ground News, before we get into this video, shall we? Ground News is a website and an app that gives readers a fun and transparent way to read the news from all across the political spectrum, from left, right, and center.
Okay, you know the rules, so do I. An ad inside of ad. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that bell if you don't get videos ahead of schedule. All the other channels, like the anime channel, Pog, right? You can get it on the Patreon by subscribing, or even getting the free ones that I do on there for people who are free members. Awesome. Yeah, and a lot of people say, oh, skip the ad, don't skip the ad. Well, we're not skipping the ad, okay? You can just hum along with me, because I don't want to get in trouble. Because I always do.
Story comes with a quick visual breakdown of the political bias, ownership, and headlines that helps you understand the full story and make sure you're getting both sides. One of my favorite features from Ground News has to be the blind spot feature, which shows you news stories that have been covered by only one side of the political spectrum and ignored by the other. For example, here is a story about how the CIA uncovered a Russiagate fraud, and right away we can see how it has been covered by 41 sources, and out of those 41 sources, 93% of them lean right, with only 2 left-wing outlets reporting the story. Ground News also makes it really easy to compare headlines to see just how political bias can affect the framing of a story. For example, this story about Zohran Mamdani winning the Democratic primary in New York. This left-leaning outlet says Zohran Mamdani's win just got a little
politics. Sorry, not her, politics.
Sweeter. And meanwhile, the right-wing outlet says, meet Zohran Mamdani, the man who will ruin New York. As you can see, very different vibes. I've been using Ground News since 2021 because I think it is so informative, so fun, and it helps me see how different stories are framed so differently, and I love it. I highly recommend it. It's one of the few apps that I wake up and just immediately check. But don't just take—
This is a problem in Oz too. I really wish news companies couldn't sponsor politicians, because it feels very biased for them to sponsor politicians and then to do articles against the people, not, their political opponent. It's really obvious here because ours is owned by the same guy, like almost all our newspapers. I don't know if it's similar in America at that frustrating moment.
Take my word for it. Even the Nobel Peace Center called it an excellent way to stay informed, avoid echo chambers, and expand your worldview. High praise. Best of all, I am currently offering 40% off their Vantage plan, which is the plan I use to access all of their amazing features. This comes out to only like $5 a month, which is like the price of a coffee. So go to ground.news/shoe or use the QR code right there on screen, or the link in the video description down there to subscribe to Ground News today. I feel like what they're doing is really important, especially right now, and it helps us approach the news in a more fair and balanced way. So thank you to Ground News for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad. Right? Now, let's get back to the video.
I can't skip, guys, sorry.
With all these issues men are facing, they seem to be moving to the right and the Republicans more, since the left and Democrats have essentially just become the young men eat and die movement. Months ago, I covered how the Democratic Party was losing young men, and I predicted Kamala Harris would lose in part because of young men overwhelmingly voting for Trump. And I was correct. Well, now the Democrats have unveiled their final solution to the right-wing male loser epidemic. Democrats spending millions to learn how to speak to American men and win back the working class. Democrats have blown millions of dollars on efforts to appeal to American men who turned to President Donald Trump in droves on Election Day in hopes of winning back the working class. Democrats have spent $20 million on their efforts, with donors and strategists holing up in luxury hotel rooms, brainstorming how to convince working class men to return to the party. Ah yes, nothing more relatable to working class men than luxury hotel rooms. Great job, guys.
Yeah, I feel like it's not just that the hate men thing. I think it's that it's very, out of touch with labor levels. Like, we have a labor one, not a demographic here, and that's why I don't think we have the same exact problem here with labor is still popular with men, because it's the working class more than anything. It's not, left, right, it's labor is working class. Liberal is more business, if that makes sense. It's how we separate it here. And I think from my point of view, it seems it's because they're out of touch, very out of touch with the average person.
The plan? Codename SAM, or Speaking with American Men, a strategic plan, promises to use the funds to study the syntax, language, and content that gains attention and virality in these spaces. The effort also recommends Democrats buy advertisement in video games, among other things. The Democratic Party is treating young men like exotic animals they're studying.
Where does the one man drink water at the watering hole? Oh, that just made me think too, when you look at the kind of guys men do look up to or try to appeal to men, they are mostly more on the right, are they? Even if they're not conservative. I wonder if that has a big effect on it.
Now, as you can,
it's either that or they don't mention it, right? I don't know. What's your guys' experiences with that kind of stuff?
See, here is the young man in his natural habitat in a
I don't know. Is Asmongold a young man? I don't even know.
Dark, messy cave surrounded by Taco Bell wrappers and empty Mountain Dew bottles. Here is another young man, as you
Okay, Destiny is definitely not a young man, okay? Isn't he 35 plus or something? Is that a young man? He's getting old, isn't he?
can see, also dwelling in a dark cave. This one has dyed his hair blue to scare off potential predators. Unfortunately, it also scares off potential mates, but moving on, here is another...
Nux, why Nux? Of course it's a VTuber.
Young man, we think, we're not quite sure about this one. We're still studying it. Listen, Democrats, instead of spending $20 million to...
What I find funny about the examples of the young men, and it may be just showing their age, I'm pretty sure all those guys are like 30 plus into their mid-30s. I know that's not old, per se, but I wouldn't say it's young man. Like, a young man is like 20 to 30? I don't know, would you count young adult as young man, and then 30 to 45 as a man, and then 45 plus as an older gentleman? I don't know. It's just kind of how my brain was, like, placed it a bit.
To do that stupid maybe you should, I don't know, actually listen to men. I listen to men for free all the time. All I have to do is read my comment section. Let's see here. Shoe on Head is a perfect example of why we need to repeal the 19th. Greetings from Albania.
Not to be a dumbass, what the hell's the 19th?
Yeah, I hate women so much it's unreal. Ooh,
See, when people's like, women should care more about men, what are you supposed to do with that stuff like that, though? You know, like, with, oh, I just hate women so much, what am I supposed to... What are you supposed to do with that one, okay? Because you can listen to your homies and your friends, and if you're having a good conversation, of course you can care more and try and be more involved. But what are you supposed to do more with just the, I hate women? Okay, thank you. I don't know what to do, bro, with that at all.
Shoo, mommy, milkies, mommy. One time I got my penis stuck in a soda bottle. Okay, on second thought, maybe my comment section is not the best source.
Since Trump scored big with young male voters last election, Democrats are spending $20 million to learn how to speak their language. I think it's a waste of money. Maybe these guys should spend their money on teaching men to not be such sexists. Maybe that's
it. But the stats don't bear that out now. Look at what young women have to choose.
Maybe they should spend more money on, you know, general happiness, because they do find people are more mid of the row on politics, the happier they are in their country. Maybe that $20 million should go to helping young men find jobs so they can be more content, you know, so they can shut up, car. You know, actually make your country good, not just let's spend 20 million to learn how to speak TikTok, like whatever the fuck they're talking about.
Choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men. There are a lot of young women out there that want to get married. They want to have kids. They want to have stable families. But there are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement.
How is that the feminization of men wanting to live in mama's basement? Wouldn't the feminization of men be they want to get married and have kids and be a stay-at-home dad? Because that's the feminist version of that. That's just saying that men don't like reality. It's like, I feel like, are they just using the feminization of men as an insult? Bit sexist, if you ask me.
And order DoorDash.
Oh no. The very night I was sitting on my couch writing the script to my video about how the Democrats are spending $20 million to relate to young men, this came on my TV on Fox News. A Tommy Lahren and Laura Ingraham segment.
I'm not American, and isn't Fox News supposed to be Republican stuff? Like, that's what I've heard from most Americans. Like, someone correct me. I don't know tons about American stuff.
And about stay-at-home sons, men who still live at home. Literally minutes after this aired, it went absolutely viral on Twitter for not good reasons. So we are going to unpack this piece by piece. Because even though everyone was mocking it and making fun of it, as far as I saw, nobody was really dissecting it and breaking down exactly why she was so egregiously wrong. So come join me in debunking the male loser epidemic. Because who else better equipped to talk about men's issues than two stupid blonde bimbos?
Also, another thing in here, what is with the obsession in America trying to get their kids to move out of home? Like, a lot of people stay at home until they have a serious girlfriend, boyfriend or something, or, you know, a potential spouse, you know. They stay at home. Like, I get, like, if they don't want to work or do anything, go sit on their bum ass or whatever. But, like, it's not a big deal being at home with your parents.
Hold on one second. 3 stupid blonde bimbos. Sorry. I felt left out. All right, let's go. Wait. I need my gamer fuel. See, I do drink it. That one's for you, Tectone.
It's a major problem. And you know, Speaker Johnson has been talking about those maybe deadbeat folks that are on Medicaid, and maybe some of those folks are the stay-at-home sons. We don't know. But I'll tell you this, leave it to Gen Z to rebrand laziness and social awkwardness as something cutesy, like a stay-at-home son. But Laura...
Oh, it's generation slamming, of course. If it's Gen Z, the guys are like, what, under 28? Leave them alone for 5 seconds, okay? And you don't know what they're doing at home. And of course there's a slam into welfare, because would it be a news segment without slamming on people for having to use welfare? You know what they pay into for their entire life in case they need it? Whoa.
I got to tell you, this is also a big problem when it comes to, I think, declining birth rates, people not getting married and having children. You know, that's a big problem. They blame it on women. Well, look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim.
Oh, you know, most people don't go just, oh, it's hard to find a spouse, blah, 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 for the reason they don't have kids. It's usually money. It's usually, the environment of the countries. Like, most people, especially Americans, bring up that it's just so damn expensive. Everything is so expensive to have kids. Because even people in long-term relationships can't afford to have kids. Like, that is one of the biggest things.
Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men. There are a lot of young women out there that want to get married. They want to have kids. They want to have stable families. But there are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement in order...
See, this is the part that makes me think, one, definitely this is not a Democrat or left or whatever the fuck. I don't know what they call it properly. Because she said feminism is a problem, which is not a left talking point. But also, I hate to be a jackass here, but is anyone else horribly distracted by her nose? What the hell is that? Is that like a botched nose job? It's like scrambling my brains.
DoorDash, and that's why we have declining birth rates and a lot of other problems in society. It's time to go out, get a job, breathe the fresh air, meet people in real life. Let's just get back to basics.
You're not the fucking boss of us. Meeting people in real life, that's not how you meet a spouse nowadays. Like, it's like above 50% of people meet their spouses online now. It's getting really high.
First of all, this stay-at-home son thing is not a real thing. It was a random throwaway, self-deprecating joke some contestant on Jeopardy said. One f***ing guy. Because I guess there's nothing else important going on that they could cover on the news. They literally made this into a fake phenomena so they can on young men.
Welcome to everything on the internet, because most things people shit on YouTube, from TikTok and all those places, are just jokes that someone took way too serious.
While Democrats are spending millions of dollars trying to win back young men. Oh no, the young men are leaving us in droves. How do we get them back? Don't worry, I got this. Hey, you fat, lazy, Cheeto dust-covered slobs, f*** you. Nice.
Sorry.
Thanks. I love you. I love you too.
And then all war was ended.
Is the amount of young men...
They were two Barbie girls. Very progressive. But yeah, that's why I don't like the misconception that political parties is like, this is for men and this is for women. No, they don't always work like that. And most, you have to keep your eye out who has the best interest for you, unfortunately.
Living home with their parents increasing? Yes. Is it because they're lazy bums and just want to order DoorDash all day? No. And also, they're not paying for DoorDash, Tommy. They're financing it. Come on. Get with the times.
There are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash, and that's why we have declining birth rates. It's time to go out, get a job, breathe the fresh air.
Have either of you tried applying for a job as a young man recently? Or tried buying a house on the salary of one of these young men? Have you experienced the dating market, been on the dating sites as a young man? No? Interesting, okay. Just wondering.
Yeah, all those things kind of suck ass for everyone, that is for sure. Especially, it's like, I was like reading something about the disillusionment of adulthood for this like current generation, like millennials to now Gen Z. And it's about how just the cost of everything is completely unrealistic, and now you have to be a top earner to afford the things your parents earned. And that's what's really keeping men from wanting to, you know, have goals, work hard, etc., is because those things aren't readily available. And women did lots of soul searching on, you know, wanting jobs for fun or because of passion in the 80s and 90s. But men were always pushed to do the whole make money for money. And now they're going, well, if I can't have the American dream or whatever, or, you know, the general, like, what I think life should be. I should do it for fun, or I should do it for enjoyment. And they're going through that, like, being lost, not sure what they want yet, because what they used to, you know, the straight line of what they're supposed to do doesn't exist anymore.
Listen, I know the average age of a Fox News viewer is like 70 nowadays, and you need to pander to them, but Tommy, you are like 2 years younger than me. You know this shit isn't true. Why are you talking like this? Why are you talking like a f***ing boomer?
Because I gave her a script and told her, if you don't say this, you're fired. Like, let's be for real.
Sorry, I have no other word for this, but I hate this, like, generational pick-me shit. I was born in the wrong generation. I'm not like those other young people. And you know what? She's not like those other young people. Not all young people can afford a nice nose job and lip filler and get a cushy job on Fox News based entirely on merit, I'm sure. The main problem with—
Okay. Let's not take words we can't take back. Like, a nice no job, because I don't think that was great. Like, a refund.
this brain-dead boomer-ass take is not only is it cringe, but it's completely divorced from reality. This slop is specifically designed for people who paid like $5 for a f***ing house. And listen, not all boomers, okay? My parents are boomers, they are lovely people. A lot of you guys are boomers, but when the baby boomer generation sends its people, it is not sending their best.
Same, my grandparents are boomers, they're great, and they are very aware everything is very, very, very expensive.
They're not sending you. They're sending people who have lots of problems. They're bringing the housing crisis. They're bringing wage stagnation. They're falling for AI-generated photos on Facebook. But some, I assume, are good people. But my god, I truly believe they do not understand how good they had it. They could support a family on a single income. A single income from a job that didn't require a college degree. Their leaders didn't prostitute away their economic future for some cheap plastic shit from China. They inherited the greatest economy known to man, and they pretend it's a paradise that they earned. I just don't understand, like, why don't boomers and spiritual boomers like Tommy Lauren see people struggling and go, wow, I wish I could fix this. They should have it better than I had it. And you wonder why so many millennials and zoomers don't want kids. I want to make the world a better place for my children. I want to make the world a better place for my children. Ugh. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, you spoiled brat. Children.
To be fair, I think that's X. Everyone forgets about X, because, boomers are like the 1950s, right, 60s, but X is after that. So my parents' generation, because I feel like a lot of people don't realize, like, a lot of people's parents are X's, Generation X, not millennials, which they're rated. Generation X is rated some of the worst parents. No offense, guys, not hating, but that's, it's up there.
True. Not happening.
Well, look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men.
Young men are becoming lazy because they're becoming feminized. So they're becoming lazy because they act more like women? What did she mean by this, chat? I know there's like a decrease in testosterone or something happening, but men are moving right-wing.
That's because of those damn plastics in the oceans getting into the fish and the water and the balls. I'm sorry, but read it. It's true, though.
All over the world? Does that correlate with the feminization? Or, I mean, there are suspiciously a lot of far-right femboys, so... maybe. But
that's a good point. Now, that's a video idea right there. I'm looking forward to the far-right femboy video from Shawnahan. That's for sure.
Here's the thing, Tammy. There is absolutely no evidence that young women want to start families more than young men. None. In fact, all the data says the exact f***ing opposite. According to Pew Research, 64% of women younger than 50 say they just don't want to have children. No reason, they just don't want them. Versus 50% of men who say the same. Another study by Archbridge Institute shows the same. 63% of women without children said they have no desire to have a child, while only 50% of men said the same. For men, the most commonly cited factor was personal finance, but among women, the strongest reason not to have a child was their desire to maintain their personal independence. Basically, they don't want to give up their brunch and mimosas.
That's such a simplification of it, because anyone who's seriously thought about having kids knows it's a big commitment, even as a guy. But where's my guy friend that wants kids? They have bluntly said if they were a woman, they don't know if they would want kids or as many kids, because birth alone is a pain in the ass, and the work a mom has to do is a lot more than a dad has to do. And sucks to that sucks, but that is the reality, because when you're the one who gives birth, it just makes sense. You're the one who stays at home. You're the one, you have the boobs. You're the one who breastfeeds at night. Like, that's just the reality of the situation. Not hating against guys or anything on that one. It's just like, it's common sense. Like, if you have the boobage to feed the kids, you're the one staying at home. And that's not something guys automatically have to do. So they're just like, I don't know if I'd have, like, so many kids if I was a woman. And I think that is something to think about. Why women want to maintain independence next to... It's a huge commitment for a lot of people.
They've been ass-blasted with propaganda their whole lives, telling them their lives will be ruined, their bodies will be ruined, they'll never have fun again, they'll be miserable forever if they have children. And as someone who has had a children, best decision I've ever made. 10/10, highly recommend, would do it again. But yes, this idea that
yeah, but that's not everyone's situation. And also, we don't know how hands-on her husband is, etc. We don't know if she has a nanny, whatever, like she is in the top percentage of earners, etc. But, it's also, there's a difference between 1 kid and 3 kids. Let's all agree on that. There's a huge difference between 1 to 3. But I feel like there's a lot of factor, and I'm not going to dog anyone who decides not to have kids. I want kids. I'll make the decision on, the balance of having kids when I go to have them. But if someone decides, like, they're like, I don't think I have the patience for kids, I don't care. That's on you. That's up to you, bro. Good for you. It's better to know you can't do something than force it.
men are the ones primarily responsible for the low birth rates is laughable. We're laughing over here. But honestly, it's not really women or men's fault. There are a lot of factors that play into this. But Tommy, I really gotta ask, is it men or is it you?
This is gonna be the summer of canceling boys. All of my friends are attractive.
That's a good question, though, with a lot of situations. But I agree with you that it's just a general, like, for people, there's different reasons. And it's hard just to point it to one thing. I feel like they should focus on people that do want kids, but aren't having kids for certain reasons. Because they're the ones you can really solve. Because they want kids, but something's stopping them from having kids. Either not being able to date, not having the money, not having the resources. And that's what you want to focus on. Because they're already halfway at the finish line, you know?
All of my friends are successful. All of my friends have something going on. Almost every single one of them have an issue with men. But if all of these women, including myself, are having issues, then I have to think, it might not be us. It might be you. It is not just the guys in Los Angeles, Nashville, Dallas, and it's...
Half the time, I know I'm commenting a lot, I feel like if you're having a problem, like everyone you know is having a problem finding a guy, half the time it's because you're looking for guys in the wrong place. And it's the same with, if all your friends are having problems with the women they pick up at clubs, maybe clubs aren't the best place to pick up women, you know what I mean? Like, if you want a D&D nerd girl, you don't go to a dance club to get it, etc., you know? But that's usually what I find is the problem when I find people who complain about this.
They're not any better in the Midwest. Quite frankly, I think they're trash all over this country.
My friends are successful. Men don't give a shit about that. They'd marry a Walmart cashier if she was nice to them.
As someone with a lot of male friends, I don't know. Like, I don't know about that. Maybe it's Australia though. Like, I've met a lot of picky guys, and I've met a lot of picky women that, like, and a lot of guys who would straight up told me, even as friends, like, I didn't ask them out. I just knew them, like, in real life, and they told me point blank they would never date me because I don't have a real income. I'm a freelance worker. It's like, I would never date a woman that doesn't make X amount of money. And I'm like, bruh, who asked? But, like, and I bring up that example a lot, that I get told that a lot as someone who's a freelance worker, that I don't have the right kind of job to date. So it's something to think about, definitely.
I think men between the ages of 20 and 30 are not ready, in most cases, for marriage, are usually not ready to be husbands and fathers.
That's a cultural issue. So, look,
No, I would actually, back to your point, I think it's a biological thing.
No, I think a lot of people aren't ready, like men and women, to get married in their 20s. Like, and that's fair, but everyone goes at their own pace.
So let me get this straight. Men are all trash and won't commit and won't leave mommy's basement, and they're destroying the birth rates. But also young men are biologically incapable of commitment and being parents. What? But wait, there's more! She also believes women don't have to bring anything to the table.
And as a woman, I want a strong man who is a protector and a provider that will go to war if need be, that will
go to war. She's been watching a little too much Andrew Tate, I think.
Will protect me, protect my family, make money. But I don't think a man needs to get something out of it to be a manly man, a protector, and a provider. If you think you need to get something out of it, I quite frankly don't consider you a real man.
Never.
I don't consider what the fuck. Like I say to or every friend I have, if you have a standard that you have for someone you date, make sure you are the person that fulfills that kind of person's standard. As in, if you want someone that can earn some okay money, make sure you have a little bit of money. If you want someone who wants kids, make sure you know how to take care of some kids. You know what I mean? Or make sure you want to spend time with kids, you know, etc. If you want someone who can be tidy because you like the place tidy, make sure you're a little tidy too. It's not that hard. Like, I don't think you having ridiculous standards for a spouse when you got nothing is just dumb. No matter who you are, man, woman, chihuahua.
Before in history have women demanded so much and offered so little. So before we get deeper into this retarded, manufactured, stay-at-home son narrative, let's check the Facebook comments of this Fox News video, because I am really interested to see what, like, the typical Fox News viewer thinks about.
I feel like this is gonna be good.
About this. If the women are anything like these two, I can hardly blame the men for staying home and not wanting to date them. Blame, blame, blame. These two women have a combined age of 93, and they have 0 children between both of them. You both—
I always find that so funny, that the women that are preaching this kind of crazy shit, like the extreme, like it's someone's fault, this is someone's fault, blah blah blah, they're always like over the age they preach should be doing these things and have no kids, no husband, not married or anything like that. Like, they don't live the life they preach about.
Both have repugnant personality types, so listening to this was like male birth control to me. My goodness! Boomers are ruthless! Bunch of sissies. I served 6 years, 2 years in Southeast Asia after Vietnam was over. When I was 18, rent was $450 and I could afford to get my own place. She's so spot on. Nothing screams I'm a loser run from me than a guy living at home in his parents' house with his 12-year-old boy's bedroom decor at age of 30. Thank God we raised our sons to be men, who grew up, lived on their own, found their soulmate, got married, bought a beautiful home, and started a family. I was out the door at 18, worked on the assembly line at Dodge and in the Air Force at 19, never went back home. I can't relate to this. Yes.
Good.
We know you people can't relate. We know. But the world has changed. What?
That's because back then, I feel like, unless you were lucky and got a job in your hometown, like, you had to move, especially in America where it was so big. But nowadays, there's so many different kinds of jobs you can have.
Why can't you people get this through your heads? I will never let my—
Maybe that's why Americans have this old-fashioned thing of kids move out at 18, because it's related to moving away for a job. I wonder. It's coming together.
Stay home. I'm trying to push them out of the nest. Okay, I really gotta ask, is this an Anglo thing? Immediately kicking your kid out when they turn 18 years old?
Is this an Anglo thing? What a nice way of saying it. Is this a white problem? For some people, I guess so. Like, they definitely want them to pay, I feel like. Even in Oz, we have that problem. Like, where a lot of white families are like, oh, you have to start paying as soon as you're 16. And it's like, what the fuck?
My Mediterranean mind cannot comprehend this. And honestly, why the f*** would a man leave home, leave his mother's cooking, for a woman who probably can't cook? Not me, though. Personally, I can cook amazing homemade meals. I'll have you know I am a great trad wife.
I was waiting for it. Guys, don't think that she's a great she's a millennial. Of course, so she knows it's nuggies and fries. Hey, the baby's gonna be happy. Not about that monster.
Now, unfortunately, Tommy Lauren wasn't the only one pushing this stupid lazy young men go get a job bullshit. Mike Johnson did it referencing 29-year-old men playing video games all day. Steve Scalise did it with 35-year-old men playing video games all day. And just the other night, I saw this on my TV. Again.
A Wall Street Journal headline got our attention. The new dream job for young men, stay-at-home son. It's a phrase that's taken off since 27-year-old Brendan Leo won $59,000 on Jeopardy. And he has a master's
I feel really attacked by this section.
degree in political science. but he's unemployed. Grow up, get a job, get a wife, build a family.
Just get a wife, bro. Just get a job, bro.
Just get them at the job store and the wife store, you damn idiot.
Get a job? Yeah. Just get a job? Why don't I strap on my job helmet and squeeze down into a job cannon and fire off into Jobland, where jobs grow on jobbies?
The term welfare queen must have fell out of fashion with Republicans, because it seems even they know the approved safe demographic to go after now. Because it's very obvious what demographic they are talking about when they say young men in their basements playing video games. This just get a job lazy attitude is not surprising, but it's especially funny coming from Fox News of all places. Fox News that spends so much time yapping about immigrants taking American jobs. Fox News will talk for years about how Americans are being screwed out of the workforce. But when this issue manifests itself in Gen Z, suddenly...
Yes, very ironic. It's kind of like there's huge contradictions in what they preach.
It's a moral failure. The fact is, a lot of American jobs held by men are being lost to automation, offshoring, and yes, cheap foreign labor. Companies and billionaires would rather have cheap labor that they can essentially abuse.
And yeah, even though they replace the labor, because if you replace the labor, yeah, it's not automatically bad to get cheaper items, but you have to replace the job market or you'll get really high unemployment. And I'm a dumbass, and I understand that. The problem is a lot of politicians just don't give a fuck about it, unless it causes them problems financially, which is the thing.
Not pay fair wages to just good little worker drones who won't unionize, rather than hire American workers for a living wage. The cheaper the labor they hire, the more money they make. I remember when Bernie Sanders called open borders a Koch brothers conspiracy.
Open borders?
Borders.
That's a Koch brothers proposal, which says essentially there is no United States.
But it would make a lot of global poor richer, wouldn't it?
And it'd make everybody in America poor. Then you're doing away with the concept of a nation state.
Where'd that guy go? A lot of these jobs being taken.
Yeah, like, I feel like people's always brings up the European open borders. It's a bit different because there's very small countries and they have very close relations, or always has, but even they have certain amounts of, companies have certain amount of visa holders, certain amount of nationals. That's pretty normal. There's nothing wrong with getting visa holders in, etc., as long as you make sure that there's, a percentage of national workers. And yeah, it's a complicated situation, but it's not that crazy to fix. The problem is it costs money, time, and you gotta care to fix it.
Are jobs traditionally held by men, like construction and factory jobs, manual labor work. But it's not just manual labor jobs, it's also the tech industry and business industry, which are careers also mainly held by men. There are many examples of this, such as Microsoft recently cutting thousands of American workers while requesting 14,000 more H-1B workers this year. Some of those job positions include data scientists, which are 70% men, software developers, which are 80% men, and electronic engineers, which are 90% men, and many more like that. Another example of this was Tesla, where roughly 15,000 American employees were fired in April 2024, and many were replaced with H-1B visa holders. On Twitter, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy tried to chalk this up to these immigrants.
See, that is the problem when you don't have balance in these things, and that's the thing when it's all about, the bottom line, be it Tesla, be it Microsoft, they're just gonna try and do the cheapest thing possible. And you have to have, that's kind of what the government is kind of for, and the people who hate the government's going to react this, but they're supposed to keep these companies in line, not just help them make more profit.
Immigrants just simply being the best and the brightest. Yeah, okay. You're paying them less for longer hours and more work, and they're willing to deal with it in order to stay in the country. It's coercive, exploitative, and, dare I say, not very America first. When conservatives confronted...
It's also a lot of Asian countries have very extreme work environments, so their extreme demands that they may put on these people seem very light compared to their own countries. Because imagine a Japanese person's work ethic coming over where they're expected not to leave until their manager leaves. An American... It's like, bro, that's illegal. But in Japan, that's the norm. So if they're getting home at 7 p.m., they're like, holy shit, my life is great. And that's the kind of people they want to bring in too, is people that don't understand their rights in the country that they can abuse. And I'm not saying all corporations are evil. It's just when they go for the bottom line dollar, they want more bang for their buck. And a lot of people's like, oh, that's within their right. But again, like she said, it's not very America first. It's not great for the country. And it kind of makes them a douchebag.
Elon Musk for this last year. He told somebody, and I quote, "Take a big step back and yourself in the face. I will go to war on this issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend." So when it comes to replacing American workers in manual labor with cheap foreign labor, it's deport, deport, deport. But when it comes to replacing his American workers with cheap foreign labor, it's yourself in the face.
Anytime something affects Elon, he loses his fucking mind, which is so dumb, meaning he doesn't know half the things he supports because he doesn't see 5 seconds in front of his face where it's screwing himself. God, I hate that guy. He's so annoying.
Interesting. There's also affirmative action and DEI, which are other things Fox News always pisses and shits about. But suddenly, when the conversation is about Gen Z men, the demographic of people who are victims of these things, suddenly these things just, like, don't exist anymore. Then it's, oh, young men are all just lazy. They just want to be in their parents' basement or in DoorDash and playing video games.
The hypocrisy of it is so annoying.
But it's not just the brown people taking your jobs.
Fuck off. Sorry.
I am not beating the allegations with this one. The brown people are not taking your jobs, okay? It's not their fault. They're just cheaper. Aim upwards. But it's not just the brown people taking your jobs. It's the women, too. Many of the dying industries are male-dominated, while many of the growing industries are female-dominated, and stigma around these jobs being woman jobs usually stops men from working them. Women are overwhelmingly entering and excelling in college and the workforce, and they're more flexible about jobs.
Yeah, that is the kind of thing, like, a lot of jobs guys just won't go for if they're women jobs. It was the same thing, like, with a lot of, like, engineering and IT and stuff were originally female-dominated before they became high-paying jobs. That's also another thing. A lot of female-dominated things are not automatically high-paying jobs. So that's another thing that keeps men out. It's not just because they're sexist roles about stars. It's because they're usually in the middle rung of how they are paid. So it's not automatically appealing.
Position and pay, while young men usually hold out for higher paying, higher position jobs that will make them the breadwinner. Because you see, despite the world progressing and the role of women changing, the role of men has not changed. Every woman is a feminist until the dinner bill comes.
Well, I don't think it's just women. I think in general, especially society, they haven't changed the expectation of men, and they haven't changed their thought process on, like, what men do. But I do see the problem with women too, because I've met a lot of women who have a very narrow expectation of what men should do, even though they are very progressive and everything else, which is very odd.
But what's crazy is women might be the ones paying that dinner bill soon. A study from the UK found women aged 20...
To be fair, I've met a lot of guys too over my time on the internet as a VTuber that would be completely happy being stay-at-home husbands now. I think guys also are going through a bit of being burnt out with, you know, the corporate grind, as they put it.
22 to 29 earned about 1,000 more annually than men, completely reversing the traditional gender pay gap for this age group. In the US, a 2022 Pew Research Center analysis showed that women under 30 out-earned men in many metropolitan areas, with median earnings at or above 100% of men's in cities like New York and Washington, D.C. That may not sound like a lot of money now, but it's a growing trend that has never been seen before. It's so bad that it's really starting to affect the dating world. American women have never been this resigned to staying single. They are responding to major demographic shifts, including huge and growing gender gaps in...
Yeah, see, that wouldn't be a problem if men didn't think women have to earn less than them to be to feel secure, and that women didn't think men have to earn more than them to be worth it, or whatever. You know? It wouldn't matter who earned more if both genders stopped being a bit insecure about it, or, you know, let go of the false idea of what it's supposed to look like.
Economic and educational attainment, political affiliation, and beliefs about what family should look like. More women than men are attending college, buying houses, and focusing on their friendships and careers over dating and marriage. The challenges of finding a romantic partner have been made more complicated by a growing divide in education and career prospects between men and women. In 2024, 40% of American women ages 25 to 34 had a bachelor's degree, according to Pew, compared to 37% of men. A bachelor's degree increases net lifetime earnings by an estimated $1 million. Women are doing comparatively well when it comes to education in their early years in the labor force, and men are doing comparatively badly. Men's economic struggles seem to be having...
Okay, also side note, I wonder if that has to do with a lot of fathers or parents are very focused on their daughters' educations nowadays compared to their sons. I'm very curious how parenting affects this outcome too.
The biggest effect on women... without a college degree, whose marriage rates by 45 have plummeted to 52% for those born between 1930 and 1980, according to research by Cornell University.
What?
Young men without a degree are struggling so much as a group that there simply aren't enough with steady jobs and earnings for non-college women to date. Men are poor, women most affected. Modern
They just get me, bro.
women are no longer tied to their gender role. Birth control has freed them from the prison that is their biology, and they are making their own money, sometimes more than men. They can have it all. They can do anything. They can be anything. While at the same time, men are still expected to be the provider. And more importantly, many men still want to be the provider, but they can't. And women, though strong and independent, still want men to be the provider.
And as a woman, I want a strong man who is a protector.
That's the thing. I don't think we should generalize on that, because I feel like they want to feel there's lots of ways to provide. It's not just financially, because I feel like the biggest complaint I see from women is they want to feel like their man or husband, boyfriend is there for them, emotionally, physically, supporting too. And I think that's a big part of it. But I know it's a cultural thing, and depending where you look in your country.
And a provider that will go to war if need be, that will protect me, protect my family, make money.
Basically,
to be fair, I don't get that go to war thing. That's very, I don't know, American, I guess. Most Australian will be like, I don't want my husband to go to war. Don't you dare enlist.
Men are like, we're worried we're not making enough money. And women are like, we're worried men are not making enough money.
To be fair, I can honestly say I've never heard anyone I know say men aren't making enough money. Most people are more concerned how poor they are, but I haven't dated them, so I can't 100% say. To be fair, I'm very concerned with how poor I am, guys. I'm sorry, I can't worry about you. Sorry, guys. I'm kidding. I'm so kidding.
Hello, class. I am Miss On Head. I am substituting for your teacher today. She was arrested for molesting a 12-year-old boy. So today we are learning about the graph. This is the growth in productivity versus hourly compensation graph. And you can trace almost everything bad happening in society back to this graph. As you can see, productivity increased while compensation barely grew over the same time period. Notice they tracked very closely up until around 1972. Now, what happened around 1972, class?
I feel like I'm about to get blamed as a woman. I don't know why, and I will donate $10 to a men's charity if I'm wrong, okay?
Well, the top marginal tax rate was reduced from 70% in 1964 to 50% by 1981. The federal minimum wage began to stagnate. Income going to the 1% rose from 9% in—
Damn, I was wrong. Give me a men's charity. I'll donate right now. I'm sorry to assume. It was actually about taxes. I appreciate that, okay?
In the 60s to 16.
I've been on Twitter. I've seen too many Twitter and rage posts. I assumed they were going to say women getting women getting jobs was the reason. Twitter break on.
Percent in 2023. CEOs also went from making 20 times more than the average worker to making 350 times more than the average worker. Anything else? Anything else happen around 1972? Yes, Jimmy, that is correct. Women joined the workforce.
Nope, take the $10 back. I was right. There we go.
It's around this time, but we don't have to get into that today. The fact is,
I fucking knew it. I'm gonna go with the taxes thing, but yeah, if your workforce does double and the price is exactly the same, I can understand the basic economics of it, but that is not the only reason why, because women had menial jobs before that. Unless you were a well-to-do wife, lots of women did work in something, but they actually joined, jobs that required skills, not just, embroidering, cleaning, ironing, etc.,
Hard work no longer guarantees success, and the will to work is tied to the fruits of your labor. And young men are fed up today because 90% of that fruit is rotten. Now, is there some truth to modern young people being lazy? Sure, I guess. Every generation had lazy people.
Yeah, I think it's because each generation figures out it's such a fucking scam working hard and working hard for other people's businesses. I think that's why grind culture is so big too, that it feels like a big fuck you, because it used to be hired your entire life by a company. Having it grow was good for you because you got to have a job, you got your pay kept rising, your company cared about you. But now the company don't give a shit about you, but you're still expected to treat it like it's a family that you're supposed to grind your entire life away for. They expect you to give nothing, and they expect you to give everything, but get nothing in return. And I feel like that's a huge part of it, is like guys in particular realizing it's a giant fucking rot, working hard in these economies.
And we do basically live in late-stage mouse utopia, after all. Young people today are faced with two options: revolution or escapism. And a lot of them are choosing escapism. Many have.
That's why isekais are so popular, bro. So popular, especially with the dudes.
Basically given up, but it's not like they didn't try. They tried, and they found out the juice just isn't worth the squeeze, whether it's college, dating, or the job market. And in a way, many young men are kind of choosing revolution. The never-before-seen large shift rightward in young men is a small revolution in a way. They're saying, this isn't working for me, this sucks, I hate this, I want something different. This is also manifesting on the Democrat side in general. The young men that are still voting left are voting further left. You saw this recently in New York City, where Zohran Mamdani, a self-proclaimed Democratic socialist, won the Democratic primary. Young men are tired of the establishment, left and right. They're tired of the system, and they want to burn it down and start again. They want something that works for them, because this is not working for them.
And I think that's completely fair to recognize that something isn't working. I do just see a lot of people pointing blame on each other instead of probably, the higher up in society that's to blame.
If you wake up one morning and you find yourself in a society where 23-year-olds with 4-year college degrees and initiative who aren't smoking weed every day, if they can't make enough to buy a car, much less a home, much less get married, much less have children, then why should you be surprised when half of them say they prefer socialism?
Yeah. Not automatically on socialism, but why would you be surprised that they don't want to participate in society, or they just want escapism? Is a great point here. It's like, of course they wouldn't. And that's the thing. I feel like that's the biggest part. It's that guys in particular are waking up to this. And they're choosing escapism.
Huh. Fox News should hire that guy. There is an entire generation of fighting-aged men who are enraged and feel like they have nothing to live for. You should probably start caring. When they saw this airing on Fox News,
And this is a thing that I point out all the time, that I do think that I don't think we should get rid of mental health stuff and all that stuff for women. It's just that there should be more for men, too. There should be more outreach towards men. Equal rights, equal fights, and all that shit, It's the same thing like my brother-in-law, single parent. He cannot get any help like a single mother can, and that is unfair. And I don't think pointing that out is bad, and I'm not saying get away single mothers' rights. No, I'm saying rights for single parents in general. You know what I mean? It's like, we can focus on two things at once, guys. We're not a goldfish.
They saw an angry woman nagging in their faces about how everything wrong in the world is their fault. An all too familiar thing they have been hearing for far too long. But unfortunately for Democrats, nobody under the age of 60 watches Fox News, so this is not really going to have an effect on young men whatsoever. So keep that $20 million. You might still need it, unless we get dragged into another war in the Middle East. If we do get dragged into another war in the Middle East, young men might come running back to the Democratic Party. Maybe not. Maybe not even a George Bush II electric boogaloo will have men coming back to the Democratic Party. Hopefully we don't find out. And as I'm editing...
I think they have to change from what I've seen from their American Party, Democratic Party.
Right now, a lot of young people, even the podcast bros, seem pretty upset about the Epstein thing, but we know Democrats won't take advantage of the situation in order to protect the Clintons, so maybe not even this will save them, but we'll see, I guess. Hold on one second.
Yeah, I do feel like it's getting so obvious that on those Epstein files, there is probably so many different kinds of people on that list. That's fucking frightening. I don't know. I feel like there's Democrat, Republican, movie stars, whatever. There's going to be crazy people if that list ever comes out, because everyone's trying to hide it.
That's better. So that was that video. What do you think of the male loser epidemic? Do you agree with Tommy Lauren? Is it all men's fault? Leave your comments below. I read them all. I am probably reading them right now as you type them. Wait, don't write that. No, you can't say that. No, it doesn't matter if it's with an A. If you like...
Okay, I agree with that. Leave a comment below if you want to discuss this. And would you count yourself as a male loser? That's what I want to know too. Like, I know it was an accident there, but do you think you fall into any of these categories here? Be it disenvisioned with society, or you want change, or you feel like you're under-earning, or you wish you could have a family but you can't, etc. I'm very curious. Even if you're a lady, you're welcome to tell me, and I'll try and keep it civil in the comments, guys. You know I don't like touching the comments, but like, be nice to each other. It's always good.
Like this video, please subscribe, and if you can, donate to me on Patreon, or leave a little tip with the little tip jar down below. I'll give it a little heart. It helps the channel, and I appreciate it so much. And I will see you guys again soon with a new video, a new slop video, because I know you gremlins love that shit.
Slop? You guys know I love slop. Friendship slop? I also love friendship slop. I like great games that I can try and make friends. But interesting video, it's interesting discussion points that I dragged on even longer but with my yapping and asking questions to the air. But yeah, I'm curious more about what everyone thinks. This topic interests me, as everyone says. I know some people get upset that I talk about stuff, and they're just like, oh, well, you talk about men's problems when you're not a man. It's like, yeah, isn't that what we want? I don't understand. I don't fully understand that mindset. Because I just want to understand more the topic, and I can talk to my male friends until the cows get home, but as the more people you talk to, the more you can kind of understand the situation. And a couple people in the comments said they don't think that men are disenvisioned or disadvantaged, they're just angry. And I don't know if that's good enough to explain the situation, that men are just angry for no reason. Or angry because they're not getting what they want. I think it's more complicated than that. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that bell. And I'll catch you next time, my delinquents.